Welcome to Math TV with Professor V. This is video lecture number 19 for intermediate algebra on common factors and factoring by grouping. So we need to set a few things straight because there's two different definitions for the word factor depending on if you're using it as a verb or a noun. I know, and I'm not trying to go to English class on you, but it is important. So sometimes you'll see in the directions of a problem the word factor, and that's it. Well, in that situation, it's being used as a verb. So when you see the word factor being used as a verb, it means to write some quantity as a product. Break it down. Break it down. When the word factor is being used as a noun, then it refers to the parts of a product. So let me show you what I mean. Hi, Professor V. Can you factor 21 into prime factors? Sure. So the number 21, I'm going to break it up or write it as a product of its prime factors, 3 and 7. There, I just factored it. What are the factors of 21? Now I'm using the word factor as a noun. A factor of 21 is 3. Another factor of 21 is 7. Okay? Fabulous. Next definition, common factor. That is a factor that is shared by every term in the expression. Okay, so if you have multiple terms, typically we work with polynomials. A common factor is a factor that every single term in that polynomial would have. Okay. Greatest common factor, which we refer to often, so we've got this snazzy abbreviation for it, GCF, that is the largest common factor. And you'll often hear me refer to it because when factoring, the very first step, just factor, is to take out the GCF from whatever expression you're attempting to factor. Okay, so let's look at some examples here. Factor out the GCF, the greatest common factor. Example A, we've got two terms, 5x squared plus 10. So what can I take out? What's the largest quantity I can take out from both 5x squared and 10? Well, I can take out a 5. I can't take out a 10 because I can't take out 10 from 5x squared. And I can't take out any variables because 10 doesn't have any variables. So the GCF is 5, you factor it out, and then you put parentheses. And then basically you divide each of the terms now by the GCF to see what's going to go in the parentheses. So if I take out the 5 from 5x squared, I'm just going to have x squared plus, and then just in your head, 10 divided by this 5 that I'm factoring out is 2. And that's your answer. And I would box it immediately, because I've seen so many students over the years, they just get on autopilot, and then in the next line, they just redistribute what they factored, and they're back to the start of the problem. Which, you can check that you did it right that way, but make sure you're answering the question, not just zoning out. Okay? Good. Now let's look at example B, a little trickier. So first look at the constants. So look, we've got an 8, 16, and 12. So what's the largest, first let's just focus on constants. What's the largest number I can take out of all of those? Not 8, because 12 won't go into 8, but we could do 4, right? Could we do any better? No, I don't think so. Okay, so we're going to take out 4. What else can we take out? So now let's look at the p's. We've got p to the 5th, p to the 6th, and p to the 4th. I can't take out any more than what one single term has. So the most factors of p I can take out are 4. And then let's look at q. So we've got q squared, q cubed, q to the 7th. So I can only take out 2 q's. Okay, and then open up them parentheses. So first term, 8 divided by 4 is 2. If I take out 4 factors of p, I'm just going to have p to the 1st and no more q's. Plus 16 divided by 4 is 4. P to the 6th, I'm taking out 4 of them, so I'm only going to have 2 left. We subtract. And then q cubed, I'm taking out 2 of them, I only have 1 left, q to the 1st. Good. And then minus 12 divided by 4, that's 3. I took out all the p's, they're gone. And then we have q to the 7th. I'm taking out q squared. You can just subtract the exponents. 7 minus 2, q to the 5th. Please box this, okay, to stop yourself from carrying on in an inappropriate fashion. Okay, good. All right, here's an important idea with example C. Notice the leading term is negative. So whenever that's the case, you need to take out the negative along with whatever else you're going to factor out from all the terms. So for sure I'm taking out a -1. Can I take out anything else? Let's see. What do all of these terms have in common? All 3 of them. I can't take out any variables because look at this 6 ruining things for us. It doesn't have any variables. I can take out a 3 at most, right? So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to take out -3, however, and then we'll be left with x squared. Now, I need to switch the signs on all the terms because I'm factoring out a negative constant. So this is going to be minus 4x plus 2. Okay, and if you're ever nervous, if you did it correctly, after you box it, you can just use the distributive property, distribute again to check, you know, or on your scratch paper. Yep, -3x squared plus 12x minus 6. See how easy you can check. Or you can design your own little math worksheet and give it to your friends. Why not? Okay, next one, example D. I want you to notice something, okay? What if I had you factor, this is just off to the side, 3ax minus 2cx. What would you do? How would you take out the greatest common factor? You would say, oh, it's just x, right? So you would take out the x, and then you have 3a minus 2c, right? Well, that's basically what's going on here in example D. It's just instead of x, we've got 1 minus 4b in parentheses like that. So it's just a little family, it's a little factor hanging out there. And you're going to factor it out just the same way that we factored out x earlier. So keep it in parentheses, put it in the front, 1 minus 4b, and then what's left over once I take that factor out? We have 3a minus 2c. Okay? Very good. Now one thing I do want to point out, we know that multiplication is commutative, so you can switch the order around in which you multiply things and you'll still get the same result. So if you wrote it instead as 3a minus 2c times 1 minus 4b, that's okay too. All right, doesn't matter. And this technique that you looked at here in example D, unknowingly, that's factoring by grouping. So now we're going to look at more examples where we factor by grouping. Okay, and typically you use factoring by grouping whenever you have 4 terms. Okay, good. So let's look here. Basically, when you factor by grouping, you only look at 2 terms at a time. So I'm only going to look at the first 2 terms here, and then I'll look at the second 2 terms after. Just focusing first on 2mn minus 8n. What can I factor out from both those terms? So as far as constants, we can take out a 2, right? And then I can take out an n. And then what's left over? M minus 4, yes? Very good. And then whatever sign is in between, you're just going to bring that down. So we have plus. And then now I'm going to focus my attention on the next 2 terms and take out their GCF, their greatest common factor. So what can I take out from 3m and 12? Just a 3. And then I'm left with m minus 4. Okay, now here's an important point. You need to check that these 2 factors here in parentheses match. And if they do, then we can successfully continue with our factoring by grouping. Take out that common factor, m minus 4. You only write it once. And then we're left with, please be careful, we're left with 2n plus 3. And that's it. Okay. Good. Let's look at another example. Let's try here. 5m squared plus 15mp minus 2mp minus 6p squared. So for the first two terms, what can I take out from both of those? 5m, right? Good. And then what's left over is m plus 3p. And then remember, I told you whatever sign is here, you have to bring it down. So in this case, I'm going to have a negative. And what can I factor out from 2mp and 6p squared? Let's see, I could take out a 2 and I can take out a p. Yes? Okay, but don't forget, I am also taking out a negative. So we're going to have m left over plus 6p squared divided by negative 2p is going to become positive 3p. All right, how are things looking? Are we happy? I'm happy. I hope you are. Look at this, m plus 3p popping up in both. Fabulous. So we're left with m plus 3p times 5m minus 2p. And box it before you just get carried away and start foiling your little heart out. Okay? Yes. Good. Again, if you had written 5m minus 2p times m plus 3p, that's fine as well, because multiplication is commutative. All right, just a few more. Let's look at example C. A cubed plus 30 plus 6a plus 5a squared. Okay, well, a cubed plus 30, what can I take out of those two? Nothing. So I'm just going to write a 1. And then we have a cubed plus 30 plus, what can I take out from 6a and 5a squared? No constants, but I can take an a out, right? And then I'm left with 6 plus 5a. Uh-oh. Do you see how this time these factors do not match? That will happen on occasion. So what that means is abort mission and go back to the beginning. We probably have to reorder the terms. Okay? And I did notice from the get-go they weren't in descending order, which was bothersome. But usually I don't start reordering for no reason. I'll only do it when things don't work out, when I'm trying to factor by grouping. Okay? So now I'm going to put them in descending power, see if that helps. A cubed plus 5a squared plus 6a plus 30. Now let's see. So from a cubed and 5a squared, I can take out an a squared. What am I left with? Yes, a plus 5. Plus, what can I take out from 6a plus 30? Very good, a 6. And then I'm left with a plus 5. And then now, hallelujah, look at this, a plus 5. Oh, we were waiting for you, a plus 5. So then we can factor it out, and then we're left with a squared plus 6. Beautiful, beautiful. So that was a little squished, huh? Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, example D. Why don't you pause the video, give this one a good college try, yeah? Okay, I hope you paused things and gave it a try on your own. So I can take out xy, and then I'm going to be left with x minus 2, plus, from these two we can take out a 3, and then you have 2 minus x. Uh-oh, same problem. These don't match up exactly. But in somewhat of a different way than before. Notice how the order of subtraction is reversed on these two terms. So let me just switch around these two terms here in the original problem. Do you know what I mean? No? Okay, let me show you. That's fine, don't worry. So what I would do is rewrite this as x squared y minus 2xy. Then I would put minus 3x plus 6 and try from there. Okay, so I can take out again xy, and I have x minus 2. Now bring down that negative. What can I factor out from 3x and 6? A 3. And then I will have x minus 2. Yay, now it matches, right? Here's my x minus 2. Beautiful, beautiful. And then we're going to take it out, factor it out. We have x minus 2 times xy minus 3. All right, good, good. And last one, example E, 2y cubed plus 14y squared minus y minus 7. Okay, so let's look. What's the GCF for 2y cubed and 14y squared? 2y squared, right? Okay. And then we're left with y plus 7. Remember, always bring down whatever sign is there next. So I'm going to bring down a negative. And then what can I take out from y and 7? Nothing, right? So when you have no common factors, you're just basically going to factor out a 1. I do like to write it down. And then remember, we took out a negative along with that 1. So this is going to be y plus 7. Yes, you have to switch it. If you don't believe me, look. This is negative y, and then this would be minus 7, which is what we started with. So anytime you take out a minus sign, you have to change the sign of all the terms from which you're factoring it. Okay, and then, hooray, we've got y plus 7 here. So we've got y plus 7 times 2y squared minus 1. And that is it. Very nice. So that concludes this little video on factoring by grouping. We'll do more factoring soon. I already have some factoring videos on my channel, but I'm just going to continue with the intermediate algebra lecture series. So everything's going to be like nice and complete. And you might notice this new button on my channel that says join. So YouTube has invited me to start offering channel memberships. It's just $4.99 a month if you want to join my starfishes. You can get loyalty badges next to your name and comments, priority reply to comments, early access to new videos, members only polls, and member shoutouts. So if you're interested, feel free to join. You can cancel at any time, just $4.99 a month. And I will be uploading a lot of exclusive content there. Mostly the rest of linear algebra and differential equations will be for members only. Okay? So stay tuned. I've got lots more videos coming your way, guys. Bye-bye.